Hey everybody, I'm glad that you decided to tune in and join us tonight. I certainly appreciate that. I want to give you another reminder. Sunday, we'll be going back to our regular church service. And when I say regular, there's going to be some twists. We will have two services Sunday morning, 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. We've got a survey on the on Facebook page, on the McGuffey Church of Christ Facebook page. We'd like for you to fill it out so we can get a better idea of who's coming to which service. You're welcome to come to both if you'd like to, but we'd just like to know. You know, I'm concerned, in light of all the events taking place this week, my soul hurts. I see a lot of hatred in our society. I can't help but wonder what God is thinking, you know, as he looks down on his people. I can't help but wonder if God is hurt by the lack of love for his creation. I can't help but wonder how long our God will allow all this hatred to go on. I look at the political climate of our nation, regardless of what political affiliation you're with. And there appears to be so much hatred toward this party or that party. You know, social media, which at one time was designed to be a contact for finding and making friends, is now nothing more than a platform to bash and hate one another's ideas and beliefs. There's such an absence of love in our society and a moral decay all around us every day. We've got to get better at loving one another, folks. Paul Lindsay from the Christian Broadcasting Network shared the following story. He said, when we drove up to this historic motel on Route 66, an old Chevy parked out front caught our eye. It had to be more than 65 years old, and the paint was faded, it was worn off and rust had eaten the car, but it still exuded a certain charm and beauty. A couple of the tires were flat, and one window was permanently open, yet it had a stately dignity that spoke of a time when it ruled the road. He said, I can imagine that once upon a time, the automobile was the lifeline for the entire family. He said, Dad drove it to work, Mom took it shopping. Weekends were for family outings and Sundays for going to church. Each summer, this car took her family to a far-off destination on a vacation. And special occasions saw her at all the family get-togethers. The kids learned to drive behind the huge steering wheel, and they longed for the day that they might get a car of their own, something new, something shiny, something fast with the latest technologies. But that old Chevy has long been discarded, removed to the junkyard where it sat for a decade, unwanted, untended, and ignored, just taking up space. You know, as I read that story, sometimes we look at people that way. We have no time for the elderly, no interest in what they have to offer or what they're accomplished. They had their day in the sun, and sometimes we think now it's our turn. We look at people of different ethnicity similarly. We too easily disregard their importance, their feelings, their dreams and ambitions, and what they can contribute to the community or to the church. We treat children as though they were worth less than adults. And we treat teens as if they should be banished to a remote island, you know. But the Bible on the other hand tells us to honor people, to value them and care for them, to look for the beauty and the charm that are still there in every human being. Romans 12:10, for example, says, be devoted to one another in love, honor one another above yourself. James 1:27 reminds us that religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this, to look after orphans and widows in their distress and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. In other words, we're supposed to honor those in society who are helpless or in less fortunate circumstances. The writer of the book of Job, chapter 7, verse 1 through 2, adds to this discussion by recognizing the dignity of the common person and by identifying with the hiring of the hirer and the slave. He says, do not mortals have hard service on earth? Are not their days like those of hired laborers? Like a slave longing for the evening shadow or a hired laborer waiting to be paid? In context, Job is saying there is no difference between the rich and the poor, the master and the slave, when it comes to how hard life can be. There's no difference in that we all want rest. We all want rest at the end of the day. We all want a better life for our family. We all have hopes and dreams. We all need love and friendship, and we all crave acceptance and respect. And the Apostle Paul summarizes it best in Philippians 2:3. He simply says, value others above yourself. Are you doing that? Are you putting others ahead of yourself? Remember, Jesus Christ put us all ahead of him when he gave his life at Calvary for you and me. And I leave with that to each and every one of you. God bless each and every one of you tonight. And may we ask God this simple question. Please, please, God, forgive us for a society that has forgotten how to love one another. God bless, and I'll see you Sunday, I hope. Take care.